That ain't right.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to the Hit Back. I'm your host, Nahaja Black. It is a beautiful day here in the 242. I got my good friend, the one and only CA Newry. CA, my boy, what are you saying? How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. What's up, Nahaja?
Man, nothing much, man. You got to work on your white balance, though, my brother. Your white balance a little off.
I'm trying to work this because the wall is actually green and then it's coming off white. So one of these days I'll understand.
That's a low budget grade, boy. That lost a lot of pigment in the war.
A
Hello to
lot.
everybody who is listening. We are streaming live, of course, on Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to watch and follow, subscribe, like, share the whole nine. And we are every day honored to host this show, broadcast this live from Guardian 96.9 FM, the station for the that ain't the right slogan. I feel like that ain't the right slogan. I was gonna say the station for the nation, but for some reason I had to pause and wonder if that's somebody else on. Is that Guardians? Because I feel like I might have been adding. I think I might have been trying to get that's. Is that
I
it?
think so. No, I think that's somebody else.
That's somebody else's. I feel like
Yeah.
that might be somebody's. I think Steph definitely feel like that's. So what's ours? Arlie,
Uh,
what's this? What's our station's logo? Arlie.
only the sun
No,
covers the.
no, no,
No, no,
no,
no.
nope, nope.
I was only
Definitely
told
not.
that. No.
Definitely not.
Oh,
Don't you
okay.
dare.
No
No.
problem.
But
Okay.
we'll figure that out because I don't know my because I'm definitely giving the wrong. And you were worse, Cecil. You were worse.
Yeah.
Okay?
Pray for me.
Okay. All right then. Thanks. Anyways, everyone, hope you all are having a great day today. It's a beautiful day in New Providence. I hope it is just as beautiful across all of these beautiful islands. Special shout out to all of the listeners, all of the show followers across the islands, in the States too. Shout out to everyone who follows the show on a consistent basis. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate the text messages, yada, 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 all of that good stuff. Today, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. This show was to have been Cecil. I was working hard today. I was working hard
You
for
were
this show. Yes, for this show today. That was to be
researching.
dynamic and robust. That you and I would have commented after having live interviews with folks. So it was about a bunch of failures, though. I work hard today, and everything
Ouch.
failed. It failed. It
Ouch.
failed. I didn't get Leslie Miller. Fail.
That would have been awesome.
Man, listen, but it don't mean I could quit. You know how she ain't got no quit in her.
I have him on Facebook. Want me to inbox him for you?
Inbox him, please. Say, good day, Mr. Podcake. Are you
Go ahead.
available? All right. So I
Uh-huh.
was working on Mr. Podcake,
Mhm.
right? The good honorable $9 million richer. So I mean, I should call him the big dog.
That's real money.
Don't
I
call
could
that
pay a
man
bill.
no Podcake no more.
No,
That's like a Doberman.
that's a Doberman easily.
Easily a Doberman.
Yeah,
Rottweiler,
yeah.
Doberman.
Or
Doberman.
one of them house small dogs,
No, no,
Poodle.
no, no,
Man, a
no,
poodle.
no. That's he's Podcake. He's man, so he
He's
got to be
mine.
big.
Okay.
I don't know if he's Great Dane yet, but he's definitely a Doberman. Doberman are smart. They could protect, and some people love them to death.
And they
You
can
know,
smile. They can smile well.
Dobermans can smile well. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
a
That's
lot of teeth.
powerful.
A lot of teeth.
That is powerful. I
Yeah.
didn't. I love you right now. I get what you're saying.
There you
Uh,
go.
We don't call it smile, so Cecil. You call it prepare for war.
That's what it
That's
is.
the that's the death march.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was working on getting my the former minister failed. I was working on getting the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce president in Exuma, Pedro Roll.
Nice.
Failed. Okay,
Nice.
man, listen.
Oh for two.
Also, oh for two. Oh for two. Um, who was the other person? It was three strikes. It was three strikes, and I was like, the hell with it. CA is my guess. That's
See, I lucked out. You see, you should have just called me one time
but
because
you were
I
supposed.
knew I can feel that I would have been a better guest than any of them anyway.
Well, you're right. You still are a better
Yeah.
guess, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what we should do? We should find out if our good friend Gina Knowles is listening. Because Gina and we have the Leah head. What is it? The head Knowles thing is
Head Rigby.
head Rigby.
And no.
And Knowles. This thing is back of the fore.
Hmm.
You know, and the question of war is always, it's legal war is a serious thing. So maybe we should see if Gina want to have a comment. But that's me asking these things out loud in case she's listening,
Boy.
so she could message me and say Nahaja unpleasant Christian things to me via WhatsApp. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I've just realized that we weren't playing the social Ministry of Social Services press conference, and I want to say that that alone is curious. But I would say this: I don't believe that we missed anything on it, but it had a lot of information. So this was the first time many of us had seen the Minister Frankie Campbell,
I
the
was
Minister of
excited about
Social.
this. Very excited.
Well, that I won't lie, that press conference was not exciting. It was just,
No,
I mean, my God, it's like buying white paint and waiting, watching it dry.
watching
It
it dry.
really was. It was boring. I mean, but I appreciated the lengthiness of it because I felt like he wanted to get
Everything out.
everything out, and it had a lot of detail. Um, we're finding out more about the borders, and well, not more, but that the appeal is strong, and they're praying that folks will just come and come for your mummy. And
Hmm.
and then Minister Campbell appeals for those to come for their mother.
Hmm.
It must be a lot of women being left homeless in this time, and
Imagine if you live outside. Come for your
my
mother, let her live outside with you.
or pay some bills, help
Yeah.
pay for your
Hmm.
mummy them. You right? So I gather if you couldn't do all of that, I don't know what you're.
Bring a can of soup to the place. Look at
At
it.
least, I mean, visiting would be nice.
Good.
Just visit, right? But I don't think if you visit, it gonna stop there now. Because once you visit, you ain't walk.
They can throw that mother on you.
You need to tote your mummy with you.
Yeah. That's why
So
they stop visiting.
that's mummy might. Unfortunately, mummy might be better off where she is than with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And it's a sad indictment, but I think it's a real one, right? It's a real situation.
Use mommy NIB money.
Oh,
Pay.
that's
Let that pay. Let that pay for that.
is she is you? Do you think Mummy's getting an IB?
Everybody must
No.
be getting NIB, eh?
Well, everybody, yeah,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
So okay, that was a thing, right? So we continued on with that. There was a great question about the children disenfranchised, relocated. What's the word? The proper word that I'm looking for. Um, dislocation. I think about joints. That's not the right word. Anyways, um, the all of the children from Dorian who were displaced. Ah,
Display.
you weren't helpful, by the way. For
No,
the
I don't know what he's
children,
talking about. I
I
know
know.
excitement, but I was a little off there. We weren't connected.
I'm sorry about that. That's because we're not in studio, eh? The
Yeah, that's what
children.
it is.
That's what it is. The children are that have been displaced by Dorian, in both Abaco and Grand Bahama. The good news is that a lot of the younger kids are now heading back home, going back
Nice.
to, yeah. And I thought that was a good story. Once
They have electricity in Abaco yet?
I don't I don't know. I mean,
Because
they say
taking
they
me out
do.
of, like, if I have a child and you taking me out from electricity and fan and put me in a hot
Well,
place with no television, that's cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, it's
sometimes you
just
won't
me,
go. Sometimes you might just want to go home, man.
and live
until you
rough.
realize until you realize what home has in store, and you might want to. But I listen, I can only imagine what it is to be away from family, but to go somewhere where you're familiar and people, of course, love and care for you and all of that good stuff. You probably would want to, make that move. I don't know, it's a thing. People might decide to do that. And look, I think it's a good thing if you get to go home and there is a home to go to. And I'm sure social services have done their due diligence to ensure that these children aren't just going anywhere, that they are going to their family members. They probably have already checked out the home. Social services really does, in terms of children, though it may seem slow for many. From what I have learned and chatting with different social workers, they really do take seriously the care of children. If anything else, the care of children is important. So that was one thing. But overall, within the social services thing, when minister was asked about, how long can the Ministry of Social Services continue taking care of, or with all of these payments, so forth and etc., getting monies, how long can we continue to do this? The minister said, "Well, we'll have to do what we have to do."
Yeah,
Right? In essence, he hopes that we will comply with what the prime minister has been wishing for forever, that we will continue to social distance, that we will be good stewards, et cetera, et cetera. But until then, the ministry will have to do what it has to do.
has to
And
do.
that still doesn't give you real numbers. That's not real math. What
But
is
when you know he tends not to be specific. He said
no.
he learned early in this game that one should mind your own business and turn left or turn
Oh yeah,
right,
turn
some
right.
kind of
Yeah,
quote
yeah.
like that.
Some foolishness when it was domestic violence, right? And he got in the hot water,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I only focus on what is supposed to be mine, and
yes.
and that kind of thing. Well, it wasn't.
Half of
It
the
wasn't
year be this way and half the year that way, something to that effect.
something to that
Not
effect.
much.
We need to find that, by the way. We
Yeah,
need to find that, and also something else that what has been going on. We have a lot to talk. Trust me, Cecil. I'm just hitting the button so that we can know where we're going in the show today. What's also a big one is the movement of Barbados to remove the Queen as the head of state. Right? So I brushed on this yesterday. I wanted to go into it today, especially with you, because I know you got some sort of crazy spin. And
me.
then, yes, I know you. Then we have to chat on the the Ponzi schemes, right? Bahamians constantly getting swung, and in particular, like everybody into something now. Everybody into something now.
Mhm,
Everybody trying to
mhm.
find a way to make a dollar. What they say, a dollar turn into a dollar into no 15 cents into a
50
dollar.
cents. That's shitty
Something.
city bang bang.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
gambling.
right. Oh, well, that's how I go. Oh, but we can even
Yeah.
talk about because I don't even believe what you said there. Anyway, no, that point I believe. But there's something else you mentioned about ring play. I can't believe.
Yeah, man.
Anyhow, that was that real?
Yeah, ring play ban. You can't be doing no ring play inside schools anymore. Ban. Stop.
I can't believe that's real. So
It's
we have
vulgar.
to no, I have to confirm
No
that.
shaking up.
I'm gonna have to
No
confirm that.
shaking up.
Ring play was a part of school. I mean, my God, what are they talking about? That's part of behavior. See, we can't go there because I have to confirm that. Because I have a feeling
No,
now.
ring play ban. Ring play is banned. Ring play is banned. No more shaking up. No sausage.
No more sausage in there. No.
No.
Well, that's a sad day.
Yeah.
By the way, many children don't even know what half of these things mean, it's just
No.
ring play. It's culture. I mean, come on now. You know, I do we have any data on how many people got pregnant from ring play? No.
Not sure, but I think they're coinciding ring play with WAP. Apparently, it has the same meaning. WAP and ring play.
See, that's all I know. We're gonna have a great discussion on this once I confirm if this is legit. Because
And despite you having a great WAP, you still get divorced. Ask
well,
Cardi B.
God, well, listen, wrong one, wrong one. You
Yeah,
said
yeah.
it's just you get wrong one. You can't
Pray
be
for
that
me.
we connecting WAP. No, I ain't falling for
And
that,
ring play.
Cecil. No, I
Yeah.
ain't falling for that. I think you're trying to set me up. You're
Pray for
setting
me.
me up.
Pray for me.
I can pray
Pray
for
for me.
you because you
Yeah.
really trying to set people up with that story there. I
Yeah.
see where
Trying
you're
to
going.
sew it all together. Like
Ring
sewing it all
play
together.
in and our
Yep.
Ministry of Education, you know, definitely don't believe. My Ministry of Culture don't believe that, right? Ministry of Culture can't believe that. Somebody call Arlene Nash. Where my girl Angelique? And John Kuno
Mhm.
is be doing WAP. I mean, ring play all the time.
They still banned that too from Junkanoo. No more ring playing at Junkanoo.
What about the count style? What about the count style?
You can do the conch style.
Because it's boring. We need to have. You gotta have sausage, man. Look here, man. You have to have the move for sausage in there.
And no hula hoop.
You got to hula hoop. See, I got to confirm this, Cecil, because I feel as if you add an extra.
You didn't get called
Okay,
much.
you add an extra because I see
The
people around here
director
all
of
of.
education soon call you and tell you no, they don't allow hula hoop no more.
I need the director of education to call me. I need the
Mm.
teachers union president to call me. I need teachers to tell me how in the world we don't have ring play. Ring play is a part of the Bahamian culture. We're the historians on this one. It can be. Someone call Michael Pintard. Michael Pintard on a bus because he's right on Bay Street. Someone need to call Michael Pintard. He's a culture man. He ain't really no fisheries man. He's a culture man. Michael need to tell us how ring play ain't in schools. See, that don't add up. That don't add up, Cecil. It don't add up. We gonna come back because we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, more with my good friend C.A. Newry. Listen, I 3 strikes, Cecil. 3 strikes. I was out with great guests. It's just you and me, boo. And we gonna turn this up and make every guest, you know, all sad and all in their spirit that they didn't show up today. We're gonna make them feel bad because today gonna be a hot show. Um,
Yes.
that's all I'm saying. This is how I go today. Everybody, we'll be back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. I hope that you all are enjoying your day. The show is just getting started. Trust me, We're about to have a good time. Cecil says, y'all, Cecil done tell me that there ain't no ring play in school. If there ain't no ring play in school, they can't have ring play in John Canoe.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all lying. Cecil lying. And then, anyway, I trying to secede from the Queen. Let's talk about it when we come back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black on Guardian 96.9 FM.
With the outbreak of COVID-19, we find ourselves having to be more self-sufficient, socially aware, and technically savvy. At J.S. Johnson, we remain committed to our customers during this global pandemic. Our Nassau and Freeport branches are open to assist you remotely, Monday to Friday, between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call 397-2100 or email info@jsjohnson.com. Be safe, Bahamas. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
It's the beginning of the hurricane season, and Fidelity Bank is giving you one less thing to worry about. We're not able to control a storm or its path, but we can prepare for it as much as possible. With every debt consolidation loan, Fidelity is giving away fully loaded hurricane kits valued at $200 with all the hurricane essentials you'll need to weather the unexpected storms of life. It's that easy. Sign up for a debt consolidation loan, open an ACE of savings or fixed deposit, and walk away with a free hurricane kit. At Fidelity, we're committed to helping you through these difficult times. Fidelity, we're good for you.
2020 isn't over yet. You still have a chance to turn this year around by signing up for a professional development course at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute. Learn skills in accounts, plumbing, sewing, marketing, public speaking, basic electrical, and more. For more information, call 502-6339 or visit www.btvi.edu.bs. Come discover the possibilities. Discover BTVI.
Do you dream about never stopping at a gas station again? Would it free your life if you could cut the cost of owning a car by more than half? Well, now is your chance to free yourself from the pump and expensive car maintenance. Easy Car Sales is having a September sales event on all new 100% electric vehicles. From hatchbacks to luxury SUVs, it's everything electric. Visit easy242.com to schedule your personal test drive experience. It's a new day, Bahamas. Drive electric, only at Easy Car Sales.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Listen, I'm extremely excited. We got Cecil. Whilst we were on our break, guess who we're going to get joining us at 5 o'clock?
A representative from Ministry of Education about solely married being banned.
Leslie Miller. Won't he do it? Yeah, baby. And guess who else will be getting to join us in a few minutes? The Bahamas Union Teachers President, Belinda Wilson, can tell us about how they ain't allowing solamari in the schools anymore. This is a serious time.
The sausage. Don't forget the sausage.
But see, the sausage one is a little deep, though. I understand the sausage one. The sausage one is a serious.
Did you hear the one to the left, to the right? My bucket shaking. That one, yeah.
That one is my favorite one. I ain't gonna lie now. That one is the good one. That one is the good one. That was a good one.
I'm trying to take it out of my head.
You're trying to take it out of your head?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Were you a ring player?
No. I was a spectator. It's like John Canoe. You don't participate. I go up on top of Scotia and look down and say, "My Lord, my Lord, my Lord."
So okay, I've sent all of the information that I need to send, and we're gonna have a solid show. Look at God, won't He do it? And it was just
Can
gonna
I
be you
ask
and I.
Leslie a little question too?
Yes, man. You could we in this together. We are in this together, my friend,
Together?
forever.
Oh,
Well, I mean, don't get too
I
excited.
mean,
Calm down. Calm down.
okay. I
Calm
did
down.
get
Take it down.
excited there.
Yeah, just a wee bit.
Yeah,
Just you're
yeah,
scaring my. I
just a
think
little
you
bit.
might scare my guests. Actually, you need to calm
I mean the
down.
fan. I mean
Yeah,
the
no,
fan. I mean the fan.
you
I'm getting
find
there.
yourself because you need to take it down a notch. All right, so we got Cecil told me today, and this is going away from what we started off the show, but I'm now that it is seemingly confirmed. Okay, all right, says seemingly confirmed there is no ring play in school, right? And I'm sorry, that to me is a national conversation. How can
My child doesn't know
schools?
how to do ring play at all. She cannot shake.
What? What you mean she don't know how to do ring play?
I've never seen her
No,
done it.
mind
You
you,
mean it's no? She plays like soccer. You know, she
but
can't
okay,
dream.
okay, that's fine. My thing is to not know how to do ring play is to not be able to be a
Never
good
did it.
shaker. That's fine because I wasn't good at it, but I surely used to jump in the circle, found the
Oh
letter.
Lord.
Oh,
Mm.
listening. Hey, Roscoe is also listening. Independent Roscoe Thompson listening from Abaco. Shout out to Roscoe who's listening there. Listen, my whole thing is it's culture. How do you not have Bahamian culture? Something that is so important. We've done stories and books on ring play. Where are this? How recent was this? How long? When did this happen? Was there some sort of
It's a
announcement?
while. This is a set thing. This is a set thing. You can no longer shake in school. Girls just don't do that no more.
I
It's
feel
bad.
something. I feel something is a little off with that one, man.
Mm.
That can't be right. That can't be right. I mean, I can understand it not
It
being right,
corrupts women. It corrupts women.
or or is it like many other things where the men are afraid of being corrupted, so they just tell us not to do it? Because because you know how this is. Women can't wear short skirts because men can't control themselves.
That's what it
Women
is.
women can't wear tight blouses because it is one of those things where you ask for it. So
Mm.
what is this? Whose judgment is it that this is wrong? Is it Western? And we're dealing with so many things that makes you wonder who is telling us what is right when something is innately ours. But don't forget, even Junkanu before was something that was was seen as anti-civil. It was uncivilized. It was an aggressive form of black culture. Now we own it, but ring play is banned. To me, that makes no sense. But we got joining us, none other than Madam Belinda Wilson. Belinda, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is the Bahamas Union of Teachers President. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Well, first of all, Madam President, thank you so much for the short notice, joining in the show. So I appreciate that so much that you were willing to join us at such short notice. And I know you're busy, and I know we got a lot of stuff that we can discuss. But I got to ask this question because my good friend CA told me on the show that schools have banned ring play. Is that true?
Well, I must say to you that there are a lot of schools where the students sometimes are not even allowed to come out to play. So at lunchtime, they eat their lunch and they're sitting up in the classrooms with the teachers. So they don't know but sausage in here.
Huh. Really? Are not when you say not allowed to play?
I'm serious. I'm serious. You have some schools where principals would say to the children that they're not to go out at lunchtime. So they eat their lunch and they sit inside the classrooms. And to me, that's really archaic. It's antiquated because we always talk about Finland and what Finland does. So I went to Finland actually, and we did a study of their educational system. And I can say to you, their preschoolers and their grade up to grade ones, they do not do any academic work. Their theme and their motto and their vision is learning through play. So when you go into their classrooms, they have like a tea set. They have small refrigerators, a stove. They have money. So they're learning practical aspects of learning and not book. They don't have books and like, so you have the children that are 3 or 4 years old sitting down for 6-8 hours of the day learning from books. No, they learn from doing.
Wow. And I wonder though, why? So when did this happen, Belinda
Well,
Wilson?
it did not happen in a formal way, and it happens based on school by school. So it wasn't a policy that was set down to say children are not to go out to play. And that's why for me, as the president, I'm very, very skeptical when teachers go and follow practices or when they go and follow something that a school is doing or a teacher is doing or someone is doing, because what happens is when you practice it, then they try and push it on you as policy. And when you've already performed a duty or you've already allowed a practice to carry on for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, then the Ministry of Education says, well, you were doing it for the last 2 or 3 years. So it then becomes the unwritten policy or practice.
Oh, wow. All right. So then, because that's what's insane to me is that we now made it a policy, a practice.
It's not a policy, it's a practice.
Not a policy, it's a practice. And I'm just in shock though.
Don't be in shock. Let me say this to you. Education over the years has been, they've touted how successful something is happening in education. I'm saying to you, whatever happens in education, if you trace it back, if you get the data and the statistic or whatever information, it all rolls back to teachers. What teachers are doing over and beyond the call of duty. And I must say that, yes, I have a master's degree in curriculum and instruction. I have a bachelor's degree in English language literature. I have a teaching certificate in English language literature. However, I taught physical education, and I believe that we've missed the mark, especially in the primary schools, as to how important play is. Play is very important at those young ages. And when you're able to, okay, let me give you an example, like a mathematics class in Finland for the K or the preschoolers. They would not have a dry erase board or Promethean board that's saying to the students, oh, 1 + 1 = 2. What they would have is they would have balls, they would have jacks, they would have boxes, they would have oranges, they would have apples, and it's practical. So they would say to the students, okay, Belinda and Nahaja, y'all, I'm grouping you two together, and I want Belinda to pick out for me 3 oranges, and Nahaja will pick out for me 3 apples. So you're practically applying. So right then, they didn't only learn how to count 1, 2, 3. They've learned the difference between apples and oranges. They've learned colors in that one simple instructional activity. They've learned so many things. They've learned how to group items. They've learned the color of the apples may be red or golden. The oranges may be orange. So they've learned so many various activities.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we're too busy in the Bahamas watching teachers to see who came to school 30 seconds after the 8:50 time, who left school at 3:13, but they should have left at 3:15.
Yeah.
Not looking at that same teacher is your best teacher. That same teacher is your go-to teacher. When you're trying to impress the Minister of Education or the Governor General is coming to the school and you want a board, a notice board fixed up with the Governor General picture and some flowers, and when you realize, hold on, you saying that teacher left 2 minutes before time, but that's the same teacher who stayed to school till 9 p.m. that night, brought her husband to school with her and her children to help fix your notice board so it can be beautified for the Governor General's assembly. So I think in education, we need to really find some people with open minds who would be prepared to know that we are teaching not only in a COVID-19 environment, but we're teaching in a different age, and that their modus operandi in education needs to change.
Listen, I'm wondering here, as you say that, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We've got the one and only union president, Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson on it. We're talking about the actual statement of CA bringing up a point of no ring play in school. Someone asked, what school was that you were talking about earlier when you were mentioning all of these wonderful play activities?
That's a preschool in Finland.
Wow. And is the model hard to transplant here?
I don't think so, but I think we need to transplant some people in education who have creative ideas and who are not operating in an analog manner in a digital society. Yeah, that's what we need to start. We need some people who really can impact education in a positive way and whose minds are open to the various educational trends that are happening throughout the world. And we like to compare ourselves with these different countries and these different educational systems, but we do not have the persons in place who can implement, execute, and get those educational creative juices flowing.
I have a few questions for you. One, someone asked a question. Did you, participate in ring play, Belinda, when you were in school?
Of course.
Of course.
I went to Woodcock Primary School in the heart of the ghetto. Saw it to him. Mr. Walker, yeah. And even I saw it, there's a kid hurting.
Oh, you understand.
Oh, yeah, under that big cotton tree in the front of Woodcock Primary School. Oh, yeah.
Well, I all I know is that was a part of school. If you weren't in a ring play session after school or during school or lunchtime, you weren't saying anything.
Culture.
But that's why I'm flabbergasted that there hasn't been any pushback on this by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. We have books and plays about the significance of it. That's Arlene Nash. I think Arlene Nash, what's her last name? Cecil, I said it earlier. What's her last name? That's it. Arlene Nash Ferguson. Yeah. She has done writings on this. I know that also
Bethel.
Man, thank you. Everybody's just being so
Ian
Strawn, yes. And the fact that we're talking about it not happening in schools, I think that's blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Yeah, because you know what? Again, I think we try to protect our children versus teaching them how to be responsible in a certain action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you say, hey, y'all, go ahead. You can do your ring play. But we're watching no vulgarity, do your little shakes in a Junkanoo way versus in a
in a Cardi B version. Yeah.
You allow them because guess what, again, that's teaching them. Because if we come up to you and say, hey, now that's too much, fix that back a little stiffer, then that's you learning. You're learning. So you're learning what not to do in a public space,
Yes.
but you can still have fun.
Yeah. And that's what makes it so important. Something else now I want to add, since I have you on the air, I have to ask this question here, Madam President. The teachers have made a decision that there could be some industrial action, and I'm saying this vaguely so that you can narrow it down for me so that I don't misspeak on this. What is going on right now with our teachers and the ministry, that relationship, and school reopening?
Well, Nahaja, you would note that from March, if you were listening to the news, if you were listening to talk shows, I would have also spoken with you. The Bahamas teachers from day one, from March, we were asking the Ministry of Education to provide for us a reopening of school plan.
Yep.
So as normal and in their last minute way, as usual. So a week before school opens, then you want to have meetings and you want to send us information that we've been asking you for almost 6 months, but you want us to respond to you within 24 hours or less. So we've had a series of meetings. We've given recommendations. Many or none of the recommendations that we've given, we have seen reflected in the action or what it is that the ministry has done. So on Monday of this week, we had teachers throughout the Bahamas call in. So they called in and they were not present at school. So I must say, based on our information, we probably had about 1,000 teachers that participated.
Wow.
On Tuesday, we had teachers call in late, so they got to school late. However, yesterday, we were supposed to have action Wednesday, September the 16th. I've asked the teachers to pause, and let me be clear. By no means we're saying that we're not prepared to continue industrial action, but I've asked the teachers to pause yesterday because the Ministry of Education would have contacted me seeking to have a meeting. And Robert Farquharson, the chairman of the National Tripartite Council, he wrote to me yesterday seeking to have a meeting. So what it is that I've done, and I'm glad I have an opportunity to say this publicly, is we've paused because there's something in industrial relations that speaks to industrial goodwill. So if we had action on Monday and Tuesday, and on Tuesday, the ministry and the chairman of the NTC reached out to me as the president to say, we would like to meet to have these matters resolved, then there's something called industrial goodwill. So you don't go to the table with a loaded gun. You go to the table with an open mind. You go to the table in goodwill with a view to being heard, with a view to having your matters addressed satisfactorily. And when we leave the table, we would leave the table with an agreement that both sides can live with. So actually, as I'm speaking to you, I'm putting together, the ministry would have sent to us what they called a work from home policy. I call it a work from home application form. So what I'm putting together now to send to the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education is our response to this form that they sent. First of all, letting them know that this is not a work from home policy, because a work from home policy has so many aspects to it and so many moving parts. So I So they've asked me to send questions prior to the meeting. So I will oblige them and I will send many, many, many questions. The executive committee would have sent some questions and teachers. So I'm preparing that now to send to the permanent secretary with a view to having a meeting. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't meet between now and Sunday,
We're
then
back on.
our members are on alert and our placards are ready, and we will start again, we'll reboot, and we will restart industrial action.
Let me ask you this question before we end the conversation here. What do you say to persons who are saying, listen, man, you guys are, and because I had it said to me that union is really fighting too hard against the ministry and should be far more compassionate to their issues, their challenges, that this is an extraordinary time. And as it stands today, we have to, all sacrifice.
Let me take it away. Okay. First of all, this is what I want to say to the detractors, but I also want to say it to the nonpartisan parent, the nonpartisan teacher, student, the nonpartisan Joe public. If they would listen to when I speak, I don't just speak to say that the union is in opposition or we are opposing. When I speak, I also give recommendations or suggestions. When I speak from a point of fact. When I speak, I quote what is in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I quote what is in the Industrial Relations Act. I quote what is in the Industrial Agreement that the Bahamas Union of Teachers and the government of the Bahamas sign. I quote what is the ILO conventions that are signed by our government. So I quote what is in the Employment Act. So I don't shoot from my hip. I quote facts and I quote from documents which are agreed and which by law we should be following. So 6 months on May 11th, 2020, 3 months after we've been working from home, I would have submitted to the Ministry of Education the Spotlight on Education, a 51-page document which I drafted, which was the position of some executives, union members, some people from the public, teachers. So I presented a detailed, comprehensive document to the Ministry of Education. I also provided that for the competent authority. I also provided it for the economic, the COVID-19 Economic Committee. I gave it to Edison Sumner. I released it to the press. So a 51-page document suggesting, giving recommendations, showing the data from research on COVID-19. I'm giving suggestions on how we could reopen schools smoothly. So we've done our job.
Yeah.
So when persons say that we have not been accepted, I guess the union is pushing back too hard, then I'm saying to those persons, they don't understand that while we were quiet, we've presented documents. We've written to education from the minister down. We've been in 2 meetings, August 24th, 2020, August 26th, 2020, a 6-hour meeting on the 24th, a 7-hour meeting on the 26th. We've spent 13 hours listening to education and giving our feedback, discussing and giving our recommendation as to why we're saying this would work better than this. But however, again, education has dropped the ball. They ignored us for 6 months. And now they are running around with chickens with their head, like chickens with their head chopped off, trying to send inadequate information that's not researched, that is not data or statistic driven,
Mhm.
and they're sending us documents that are inadequate for us to give them responses in less than 24 hours. So I'm saying to you that the time they take to attack me personally, to send out a 2-page press release to attack me personally, they could have used that time, they could have used that paper, they could have used that ink to draft a proper reopening plan with a health and safety protocols attached. So, like I said before, and I'll say it again, Belinda Wilson is the president of the union, and I'm the voice for the teachers.
Yes.
Once teachers send information to me, I have to respond. Once I respond, I have to give them the information that I have, and I have to also give them suggestions. Now I can stay home. I've been working from home from March. I can stay home, shelter in place, collect my salary, and ignore the teachers. However, I choose, and I even could stay and play up with my husband because he home too.
Oh, wait, hold on. All
We
right
can
then.
play. We can play.
Right. You can play ring play. Right. Yes.
But
This
what
is
I'm saying
powerful.
is I've chosen as the president of the union to, yes, we are sheltering in place. Yes, there's a curfew. Yes, there's emergency orders. Yes, people are on quarantine, but the Bahamas Union of Teachers is not on quarantine, and the rules and the rights for our teachers are still alive and well. So
Listen.
also will not sit down and allow no jokey people at the Ministry of Education who don't know the difference between a policy and a piece of paper with a form
Oh,
to,
Lord.
to allow our teachers to walk into spaces that are unsafe and unclean. I will not sit by as they lend our teachers tablets that do not work with Zoom. I will not sit by as they mistreat my teachers and tell them, get off of this campus with your children, 4-month, 5-year-old babies, or your children who you have no one to keep. I will not sit by if we do not have a platform for us to do our learning management system and our education management system. So I will not sit by if you did not provide laptops
Right.
to our teachers. I will not sit by if teachers do not have masks to put on their face that you tell me that they were going to have. I'm not going to sit by if you want our teachers to go into classroom 3 feet distancing when the medical professionals say 6
Say
feet.
6 feet.
I will do what I have to do as a president. I'm going to do my job. And you know what I want to tell them today? If they will do their job half as good as I do mine, then they won't have to worry about me. We wouldn't have no problems in education. Go do your job.
Oh, my. Well, what a time.
What we paying you for with our taxpayers' money. And if you've been promoted beyond your competence level, then call up the white flag and tell them, I thought I could do this job. I can't do this. Put me somewhere else. Because all they're doing is messing up the education system, frustrating teachers, and at the end of the day, we're gonna have a system that puts out children that cannot make it in a post-COVID environment. So that's
Belinda Wilson, let me tell you, you wasn't slapping up no point in this conversation. You don't slap up. You play ring play, but you don't slap up. And listen, for the teachers, for everything that you said, I don't blame you. At this point, I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you at all, my sister. Do your thing. Thank you so much. We gotta go, but I will be watching forever. Oh, it's got the camera. Get in the camera. Thank you, Belinda. Love you, man.
Thank you.
All right, darling. Well, Cecil, what a time.
She always leaves me invigorated.
Man, listen, I was ready to be a teacher.
I will march.
Man, solidarity forever.
You gotta give up on marching all together.
You don't march nothing. So I would march with Belinda.
Yeah.
I won't be a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher. But if Belinda was fighting for me, I don't want to be a teacher now. I mean, who are we kidding? I ain't doing it. That ain't my cup of tea. But solidarity. forever.
Hold on.
Hold on, get in the camera. Get in the camera. Solidarity
There you
forever.
go.
Oh,
Freedom. Wrong show. Wrong show.
laptops,
There you go.
tablets,
Free.
ring play.
Yes.
All right, when we come back, Leslie Miller will be joining us. No longer the pot cake man. You don't get 9 mil and be the pot cake still. You the Doberman. Doberman for life. When we come back, you got my good friend C.A. Newry and I, as we continue the conversation for today. We got a lot to talk about, but we're looking forward to the next side of the show. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black on Guardian 96.9 FM.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
You're listening to the Guardian News Network. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Taylor Ferguson. Here's what's making news. Thank you so much for tuning in. Government has provided $13.2 million to the National Food Distribution Task Force. Minister for Social Services and Urban Development, Frankie Campbell, giving a report today. He said the task force has distributed food parcels and vouchers to approximately 55,078 households throughout the country up to September 12th. Government's Emergency Food Assistance Program has assisted 4,850 people at a cost of $437,713. Campbell also announcing that it's going to cost government $800,000 to relocate boarders from Princess Margaret Hospital for the first year. With more than 150 bodies in storage, the morgue at Princess Margaret Hospital is well beyond its maximum capacity of 66. In a statement today, the Public Hospitals Authority said the increasing number of bodies threatens the morgue's operations and the overflow conditions compromise the integrity of a body in long-term storage. The PHA continued, warning, in the event bodies are not removed in a timely manner, they will seek the required legal authority to remove the remains. Family members are asked to contact management at PMH at 322-2861 to arrange for the collection of their deceased loved ones. A report from the Inter-American Development Bank says Hurricane Dorian resulted in some $7 million in damage to the ecosystem. However, the report explains that numbers could increase. The report, titled The Assessment of the Effects and Impacts of Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, notes that wave action, storm surge, and high winds have produced partial to severe destruction to mangroves, coral reefs, seagrass beds, and forests on both Abaco and Grand Bahama. The report was released a little over 1 year after Dorian battered Grand Bahama and Abaco. And that's what's making news. I'm Taylor Ferguson. AP News is coming up next.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Coronavirus update. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson cancels plans to travel with President Trump and attend the president's campaign event this evening in Wisconsin. Senator says he is in quarantine after being exposed to someone who has tested positive for the coronavirus. Johnson says he has no symptoms and has tested negative. The World Health Organization's Dr. Michael Ryan says national leaders have to put aside politics when it comes to fighting the virus.
It's understanding the confusions. It's understanding their concerns. It's understanding their apprehension and not laughing at it and not turning that into some kind of political football. It's about genuinely communicating with people.
Last night at Hillsdale College in Michigan, Attorney General William Barr called lockdown orders the greatest intrusion on civil liberties in American history since slavery. South Carolina Democrat James Clyburn tells CNN that Barr's remarks were the most ridiculous, tone-deaf, god-awful things I've ever heard. I'm Tim McGuire.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Good afternoon, and we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, CA Newry, my good friend joining me always. You know, I could always count on my good friend. Well, CA, as you can tell, we don't have our guests on the show yet because you know, I don't know what's going on, right? But I did hear from him, so he was not a figment of my imagination, and he did say he was coming on the show. So we're just gonna wait and see, you know, because I mean, sometimes when you're a multimillionaire, you don't pick up right away anymore, you know.
I think he drove up by Guardian.
No, I think he was aware that it was a link being shared, you see. But you know what? Perhaps I should ask security to check out front.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I'd be thinking of the box.
You know, you definitely out of the box today. Like just jumping out with all of this fieriness. Yeah,
like popcorn.
yeah.
Like popcorn.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So you jump in and get hot, and and then you switch up. I don't know if that's a good thing, my boy. I don't think that's not the best description.
I sweat a lot. I tend to sweat a lot.
Listen, okay. So whilst we wait for the former member of parliament of Tall Pines, was it?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why it would be great to have him on the show is, of course, he recently, it was yesterday or day before yesterday, won a landmark case. Well, I don't know if it's landmark, but it definitely was interesting. Whereas the Supreme Court justice determined that the government, along with the Bank of the Bahamas, worked together. And the word was used, colluded.
And that has a negative connotation.
Not negative connotation. It is negative. It is negative to collude, to work together against an enemy or against something or an entity. But in this way, something that was interesting in the conversation was that, or in the article was that, it was described that the government knew, the bank and the government knew that Mr. Miller was cash poor but assets rich. And I was like, that's fascinating. What would be the advantage, right? Would it be to the advantage? It was interesting reading the article. Was it to the advantage of one or the other entity to be able to take back property if you're asset rich but cash poor? Where was the collusion? Was the collusion in knowing, in particular, that because of course this is now, the breach of the contract happened under this administration, where it was signed under the prior, but it hadn't been completed. There was an agreement to help repair building and all kind of weird stuff. And of course, knowing that they were still under contract, they reneged on the contract and really left Mr. Miller out to dry, even if you don't like it. That was the story.
I still want to deliberate about this word colluded, because like I said, to me, it has a negative connotation. To me, it means there is some bank executive leaking important data information that is personal to me and giving it to a third person without my authorization. Surely that's a crime. Surely I should ask for that person to be fired, transferred. See, then it's silence for the for a judge to conclude that there is a person in the bank who went beyond their scope of duties and work against a client of theirs for their detriment. Man,
no, that's scary.
Supposed to happen.
And
that's where I'm at.
And it's beyond scary. But what we've realized, Cecil, is that can we just call a spade a spade? Many people have said it over and over and over again, that there's corruption in the banks. I bet you anything them Derek Rowe family members would be like, aha. You remember when they used to do that in Coming to America? You don't remember that show?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, you remember that? That was like the greatest movie ever. Anyways.
Part 2, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. That was pretty great. Anyways, so I guarantee you the Derek Rowe family is sitting there like, ah, ha, ha. And there are many other people who are like, I've always known that the banks weren't working in our best interest. People who've always, who, when we look at victimization, you can imagine if you weren't Mr. Miller with capital still left or with friends who are big QCs, that how many times this has happened to, ordinary Bahamians. I've heard of Bahamians tell the tale of, they're home in their house and all of a sudden the house is being inspected and you're like, but I ain't behind. Why? why is the bank sending out an inspector, or what do you call it? What do you call those people? What do you call those people? So,
who inspects the house?
Yeah. They don't call them just inspectors, man. What do they call them? I don't know, man. I can't remember the name.
But see, Nahaja, I'm thinking now. You're in business, and a small business lady, right? Imagine your home bank. You go in for them to get a loan and say, "Hey, I'm going to buy this thing. This is a good deal. I'm going to take advantage of the deal." And your loans officer call the person who you're buying the stuff from and say, "Hey, Nahaja ain't no good person to be dealing with. She
that's the word.
But she have a lot of property.
Yep.
You can lower the price. You can hit a hat, jack it up, mess her right up. Something is wrong with that, and the case cannot be left just there."
Exactly.
Whosoever in the bank who did such needs to be brought up either on charges, dismissed, or
we need to know. We need to know, because of course that's not best banking practice. I got on the screen here what collusion is: a secret agreement or cooperation, especially for an illegal or deceitful purpose. And a secret agreement or cooperation, especially for an illegal or deceitful purpose. And that is what the Supreme Court Justice said happened, that they colluded, a secret agreement, right, and cooperation between the government and the Bank of the Bahamas. Thank you everybody for telling me it's the appraiser. Someone says bank adjuster, but it was the appraiser. The appraisers who showed up, they show up to your house unannounced. You'll be like, well, what you doing here? Who sent for you? I mean, who needs to know?
And what I want to also mention to you, to put into the discussion also, Nahaja, is there have been politicians who went abroad who have announced that this Bahamas is one corrupt country.
Yes.
In fact, that 80 to 90% of the money we lose is through corruption or something to that effect. But it made a clarion call and tell the whole world the Bahamians are corrupt.
Yeah.
And now we're coming now with two cases, and I'm watch where I'm going here. We have two cases where it seems that politicians are colluding with people in order to get a particular agenda. We having police officers interviewing the client in there, I wouldn't say police officers. I wouldn't say parliamentarian. I'm trying to be safe. The person who interviewed the person in their campaign office, in their constituency office.
Was it not the police officer who got the promotion? Who was caught on
all of that?
And the case was thrown out.
Politicians involved inside interviewing people. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, all right. That too.
And now we see other politicians. Other politicians. Other politicians doing things.
Well, I mean, look. Go where you going. I feel your thought.
I prefer to call up. But I just saying that is getting concerning to me when you see politicians seems to be colluding in order to get an end result, and I'm concerned about that, especially in the art of being corruption.
We have a caller on the line. Let's see if we can get the caller on the show. Okay, we lost the caller. Feel free to give us a call, everyone. If you want to call the show, you want to text the show, you can feel free to do so. You can give us a call at 325-4259 or 325-4316 or 323-6232. And you can also text us at, I think it's 427-GR96, whatever that is. 427-GR96. You can feel free to text us as well or give us a call. And I appreciate my good producer using the private chat. Way to go, Arlie. Way to go, Arlie. Using the private chat. Oh man, look at us. We're moving up in the world, boy. Moving up. Shout out to Arlie, my producer. It's just being all extra. All right. So we got my good friend C.A. Newry here. We are still waiting. I spoke when I mentioned the good minister, the former minister, Leslie Miller, trying to reach out to him earlier today. At the beginning of the show, we got a phone call. I spoke with him directly, and he was to try and join us. Well, he was going to meet with us at 5 o'clock on the show. Obviously, that time has passed, and we will chalk it up probably to not being that. I don't know. Maybe that link. It just throw you off. The links just throw you off. It throws you off. So I hope the good minister knows he can call in. No, former minister. Why give him
I think you're chairman, actually, not a minister. But I was going to let you go with it because I know you're not.
He was never a minister. He's not. He was never a minister.
Of what? Yeah, but see, that's not me.
Because he was a pod cake, you felt like he was minister or something.
Okay.
You felt was he not the minister of BPL?
Chairman, executive chairman.
I know, executive chairman. You're right.
I'm cool. I was going to let it slide. But
I said it too many times. You're right. Yeah. So we have my good friend C.A. Newry joining us today. So with that, Cecil, I mean, the collusion thing is a huge matter. It shouldn't be anything that is just a court case, right? But something that has to go much further down the line. All right.
Another point, Naja. Can collusion means plot against?
Well, that's what we're seeing, right? Based on what it is, a secret agreement, a cooperation, especially for an illegal or deceitful purpose. Once it is a cooperation, it's a plot, and it has to be between people and persons, right? So
they plotted against him.
In a Bahamian vernacular? Is that what you want to use? You want to use the Bahamian vernacular for it?
They plotted against Mr.
It was a
Miller.
plot. It felt like they was plotting against the fella, and you got to say plotting. You have to say it in the way that it's well used.
I understand. I just want to make sure that plot and collude is the same thing.
Because that's how it is presented, right? That, for God's sake, this is where it gets upsetting, and this is why corruption, when you go away and talk about corruption, for the record, this administration and my prime minister went away and spoke about corruption. But under this administration, how many lawsuits have we lost? How many court cases have not been successful in their attempt? How much money do we have to pay out for those people they let go wrongfully at Wayne Monroe and Damian Gomez? Stay winning under this administration.
Money making.
Because I still don't. We didn't get the final number, and I think we aren't going to get the final number until they sort things out with the gambling board, the gambling commission. I mean, 20 odd people, right? 20 odd people. We now have another case before the civil court with regard to constitutional rights with lockdowns. How many plaintiffs in that case? Now we have a payout of $9 million that can go up to as high as $80 million based on these crazy numbers and projections Damian Gomez has presented, but the judge has left room for the damages that can happen. If this administration seeks not to do business, to not live up to their contractual agreement, it can go higher. And so I'm sorry, but when you're talking about corruption, for goodness sake, this administration has been the worst in it. I mean, they're not even trying to be righteous or live up to their creed. You remember when the prime minister in the House talked about at the throne, the speech of the throne and all this foolishness, if there's anyone who is, corrupt or anyone is seen to be corrupt, I will move them. Well, kiss Auntie Vicky left leg. How many people been moved? How many people been named in court cases? But only when you vote against them, do you get a resignation letter put against you. You don't even get to write your own resignation letter. They come and collect the keys, sign your name. Someone says the corrupt people do not get punished, so corruption continues. It's so true. I mean, at this point, what are we talking about, Cecil? $9 million? Collusion, Cecil? Who were the bankers? Because the whole bank need to shut down from that time. You know that, right? The whole bank been doing wickedness from that time. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry. I don't want my Bahamian people to lose their jobs. That ain't what I trying to go after. But I'm sorry, when an entity has proven to be unrighteous and dealing with people's money, then we have a problem. we have a serious problem on that. I know, of course, when we look at it, if we don't get the bankers sorted out, if we don't get this, how much money have we given Bank of the Bahamas, Cecil?
A lot.
And they work in collusions.
take money off their bank account and all and put it in the corner there, so that ain't yours no more.
If I was someone who lost property, if there was anything that was untoward with my case, or I believe that I was wronged, and Bank of the Bahamas was my banker, I am finding a lawyer ASAP. I am finding an attorney, a qualified one, and say, listen, I need you to be my attorney. There is precedence, or it shows that there's some sort of level of corruption within this company, and we've seen it over and beyond, because they still can't tell you how you could mismanage money so many times, and we just reshuffle chairmen, but no one gets fired. No names are really called to say this person is a poor bank. Nothing like that. Nothing of that sort, right?
And pay them out. Didn't find them. We paid them out.
We pay them full out, and you're talking millions of dollars for some. We pay them out, and nothing happens. And this is why, I look at us as a society, Cecil. I'm sorry, I look at us as a country, and all of these politicians got big talk, lone mouth, and you sit in the House of Assembly, and you listen to them talk about we have to be responsible. But yet they sit in the seat and can see full well where all of the lanes of corruption are, and they refuse to do anything about it. But then they can make sure and say, oh, you need to come for your parents. We all need to come pay. What? Anyway, let me stop, because I was about to go too deep and get myself in trouble, and I need to get that kind of Leslie Miller money before I could talk loud. And you think he getting money anytime soon?
No. We have to do a payment plan for that. Just Corona crisis now. You have to get that in installments.
You got to get that installments. I want installments of what?
You can't expect to get that right now. Yeah, maybe $100,000 a year.
Really?
Throughout his life. No.
So it would be like a publisher's clearinghouse sort of payment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lord. Expect to get $10 million like that. We got to appeal that.
Man,
we got to appeal that.
But we can't win nothing now. We can't win nothing, because all kind of things in appeal, right? We got all kind of things in appeal now. The appellate court's seeing a lot of stuff, but we ain't winning nothing. And we still haven't been told how much money we paid those foreign QCs for that case that fell flat on its face. You remember that one? That's a lot of money, boy. It was paying them an hour. That was a lot of money. We paid these fellas a lot of money. All right. So we have, and I think at this point, we've come to the conclusion we won't get Leslie Miller on the show today. Maybe it'll work out tomorrow. See what he has to say there. I was also told that he said on another show yesterday that he would be running as an independent.
Stop that.
Yeah, that's what I was told. That
Against
he said,
PLP?
well, you're an independent. You got to be against everybody, right? Yeah, against everybody.
I think he's maneuvering in order to get that nomination.
Seriously, is that like you know what? I want Mr. Leslie Miller as a guest on my show. I can't even say I got to wait till after. Yeah, candid can't be. I can't be that candid. But nonetheless, I will say this: if he runs as an independent, I'm asking this: where will he run? Which constituency? You think he's going back to Tall Pines?
He's back to Tall Pines.
Anderson ain't been no fire in Tall Pines since Leslie left.
That's why the people celebrating. No, the fire end. The curse over.
So he's not. No, he's not going. Listen, he need to find an excellent constituency. I don't think Tall Pines is it for him anymore.
The guy with the match still there. Any minute now. Any minute. Let him come back.
Come back.
See what happens when he come back.
Keep the fire burning. Oh Lord, Paul. I don't know. I think that'll be interesting if he runs independent, though. I think he can definitely beat Don Sanders. I think Don Sanders, I don't think he can keep that seat.
There is an F&M joke. Say, if you run a dog in this constituency, they can win. Don Sanders have that issue.
We have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on the hit back. Welcome.
Yes, sir. How are you doing, Mr. Black?
I'm doing well, and you?
Hey, Newry.
Hey.
I knew your name was okay? Leslie Miller was the minister from 2002 to 7 Trade Ministry, okay? Right now, So I give you a break, okay? I know you made a mistake, okay? All right.
See that Leslie Miller was a minister. He was a minister. I know. Okay, thank you. Thank
I
you,
was
my brother.
about 12 back then. You know, I'm young.
Newry, and also Leslie Miller was a chairman from an 87, okay? So, you know, me, DC also. So, Mr. Black.
Yes.
This government is the worst government ever. You know why? You know, right now, in Shane Gibson court case, you had ASP Deborah Thompson, who admitted in court, who were caught perjuring that she colluded Jonathan Ash. I mean, I just fact so nobody gets okay, so nobody gets hysterical and say talking court case, okay? That's fact, okay? That's public knowledge, okay? I mean, you had ASP Deborah Thompson was promoted to superintendent after what she did. Then you had Marvin James, who was condemned by Chief Magistrate for Frank Smith foolishness. I mean, these people get a pride, though. I mean, when enough is enough. Here's facts.
Yeah.
And then let's go to the court case, public knowledge. Do you know, first of all, the government watch charges against these people. No bank, okay? The bank do foolishness what they want, but the government watch charges against these people. Two of what? Let's talk about it. But I mean, these open court cases, we ain't planning nobody in. Do you know the man court case? The government of Bahamas hide the files. They can find it. So to make a long story short, I mean, this government have no moral. I mean, when you can go and lock up your political enemies, I mean, just to say corruption, come to find everything was a collusion. I mean, you think these people have any moral? So I mean, Marvin James should do the right thing and just step down. Because I mean, how in the world you can be condemned? How in the world you can meet? How in the world you can meet the person at your political office, and then the call log show you was calling her, she wasn't calling you. I mean, these facts, though.
Yeah. Well, listen, my brother, I tell you the level of the issues of corruption in this country and this government will have to ask for it. But I got another caller. So we'll go right ahead.
Ben Simmons admit that he was in Mexico. The Prime Minister called him and tell him get the deal ready for Thompson. I mean, these things is obvious. I mean, these things can't hide, you know. These are open public. But make it long. This government is so corrupt. They make Al Capone look like a golden boy, okay? So nice.
Thank you, my brother. So they make Al Capone look like an altar boy. We got a caller. We got a caller. Caller, you're on the hit back. Welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well, my boy. How are you?
Well, man, it's gonna get better.
Good.
It's gonna get better. Trust me. As a matter of fact, trust God. It will get better.
That's right.
This is in Barnabas, inner city. You know, I am amused by the competent authority. You know, it's all smoke and mirror. Because here it is, you have made a law that when you come into the country, you have 14 days to quarantine. Where in the world you think me, who in St. Barnabas, don't know that Brad Davis can't come in that parliament until 14 days after he arrives here? Okay, you come in with all this smoke and mirror. Just that's all it was, you know. And Michael Pintard, the MP for Freetown, Brent Simonet.
No, Freetown is Freetown. Freetown is Diagala. Diagala.
Anyway, Michael Pine and Dwayne Sand. Okay, so four. They refuse to enter those chambers because of the law. Okay, here it is. He's breaking his own law. Okay, there's COVID inside the place, and you want people to come there. If there was COVID inside a chicken shack, it should have been closed, right? It would have been closed.
Right. No, I mean, listen, you're right. I don't understand how we got it open. It should be quarantined.
Also, too, he closed the church. There was no choir practice, no usher board meeting, no prayer meeting, and no worship service on Sunday. Why? Because of the competent authority passing these rules and regulations. But there's evidence that there is COVID inside the parliament, but you had a meeting.
That's
okay. Lawlessness, man.
Lawlessness. I don't know, but what did Carl Bethel say?
I don't know whether he can come to my door and would he can tell me to vote for him, though?
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate the call. Thank you.
St. Barnabas, right?
Yeah, the caller from St. Barnabas. Yeah.
Good MP that way. I guess I know how he voted in this election. They have an excellent MP, eh?
They do have an excellent MP. I think
he wrote him properly. He voted right.
He voted right. Someone says church is open. You're right on that. And so Frank can't go to the Senate. What was that? Okay, man. We need to have when we come back. We're gonna dive into that too. And plus the head Knowles issue that's still going on. Someone sent a nice little text, nice and long, and I like it. Right. And someone else is on hold. Okay, well I need to get my answer then. Let's deal with the caller that's on the show. Caller, you're on the head back. Welcome.
Hello, Nahaja. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
Wonderful. Listen, doesn't it appear to you that this government is intentionally putting the country in some serious debt as it relates to the amount of suits that goes against them, as the amount of billions of dollars that they borrow in, so that if there be an alternate group that is willing to come by with an innovative and visionary plan to resurrect the Bahamas, that it will be so much in debt that it will kind of discourage them. But listen, I want you to let the government of the Bahamas know, both the PLC and the FNM, which is one side of the coin. I don't care how much debt they put this country in. There's a group out there with vision and innovation that will restore this country. So they could put us in $20 billion debt. We will pay it off within 2 years.
But this gentleman here, Cecil, is with the KGM, and the KGM have it's the KGM, right? I'm getting it right?
Yes, you got it right.
That's right. The Kingdom Government Movement led by Dr. King, and they do believe that they have the answers, and not just the answers, but the actual tools to get us out of debt. My brother, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it.
Not only that, darling, we have a strategic plan to revitalize the new and next Bahamas.
Hey, I like the way that sounds, though. I won't lie. Yeah, I'm with you, my brother. I'm with you. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. They said they got a strategic plan. I can't wait for the big rollout of the plan.
I saw on one platform that they were anointed. Who can go against some anointing?
I don't know. I don't mess with that. I don't mess with people anointing. So, you know, if you're anointed and you're called, I leave it to God, man.
Let God do his due.
Let God be, what is it? Let God be every man a liar and God be exalted and every man a liar, something like that. Yeah. That's how the old saying go. Child, if you're called by God, you're called by God. I just want to make sure I in the ark. You know, I don't want to be the heretic who stand outside the ark. This a fool, eh?
Ain't gonna be no more ark. Well, just letting you know, ain't gonna be no more ark.
That's true. That's season over.
You don't have your fire suit. You can burn.
Fire burn them. We got to take a break. Let's go. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more with my good friend C.A. Newry here on the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, but of course, nonprofits. The big nonprofit, one of the better stories of nonprofit organization, Head Knowles. We know in recent since Dorian, oh my God, it's just been another travesty. It was a since Dorian? Yeah, Dorian was brought the demise of Head Knowles.
It changed. It morphed.
Well, they want their name back, so it ain't gonna be Head Knowles much longer. They want their name back. Yes. Okay? Head wanted cut off. So it could just be Knowles. And I'm a Knowles, damn it, so I need to get in this. So I want shares. But it's non-profit, so I guess I ain't making no money. Anyway, we digress. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, my good friend C.A. Newry. We will be back right after this.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, my good friend C.A. Newry, with us today on the show. Someone says, Nahaja, let's be clear. All politicians are crooks, inclusive of the PRP. I mean, all though? All is a little stretch, man. I'm so voting independent this lap.
There's some good politicians out there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a lot of independence this season. I'm looking for independence, and I think listen, KGM has some great ideas. I really do think that they have some great ideas. Well, listen, man, don't get involved in my business. I did say I was trying to go with independent. Just take your time, man. You know, I don't like you. You know, some days you really just want to yuck up my vexation.
Pray for me.
I can't go after the show's over to calm down. I'm going to take my girls and we're going to play ring play. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take them outside, and we got outside because I want people to see it ain't illegal.
They don't like noise.
Well, listen, if they come right and take that penny sausage.
Oh, Lord.
Anyways, we digress.
Yeah.
So, news again today. Not just today, but recent news. Of course, we now have another the saga of the Head Knowles experiment, right? This nonprofit that I call now an experiment. I call it an experiment, and there is a saga that's attached to it because the experiment was, and still is probably, can something that is so organic be successful? Something that came out of a need continue to be successful? And when things happen that is organic, how do you make sure that the pitfalls of growth don't cause you to collapse, right? You fall into those pitfalls of quick expansion and growth. So Head Knowles during Dorian found itself having to do a lot of things that it didn't probably have to do before because of the magnitude of the event, having now to become a legal foundation, which many of us probably, didn't know that we didn't know what they were. We thought it was all legit and everything was, all of the charters and everything done. But they became a foundation. You didn't know there was some underbelly or issues with the founders. All of these things came to head as monies were now being involved. The lines, the demarcations of responsibility. How do we handle the money? How do we handle those things? Weren't because of growth, because of how quickly they grew. They didn't see it coming. And because foundation building, creating corporations, these things are not normal in our discussion in education. We don't talk about these things. Children don't grow up thinking that we can form a foundation with our family and put assets in it and make shares, and so that we can, grow our wealth and create wealth for generations. We don't think that way. We don't think about what these foundations mean, the structures, the impact of them globally, what they look like. We're not taught those things. So when you're forced to do things that you're unfamiliar with, or when you are in an entity that doesn't see those challenges coming because you don't know about those challenges, things like this happen. And the demise of...
Don't like that word, Nahaja.
Well, I'm using the word demise because the Head Knowles that we know is gone. The Head Knowles that we know...
A transition then.
It's gone. That the Head Knowles that was Head Knowles is officially gone. Unless you're telling me there's a kumbaya come together, not the work, the Head Knowles of the Gina Knowles and Leah Head Rigby, that Head Knowles is gone. What exists today is the remnants of that Head Knowles, meaning the name exists, but we have really, it's still Gina Knowles who runs it. Right? Leah is doing something else. And we see the fighting.
Head.org.
Head.org, right? Oh, for God's sake. There we go. So we are seeing this play out in public. Yes. And I think that that's really disappointing, right? I think that that's disappointing that it's playing out in public.
Being an open person and believing in and sharing information, I'm enjoying that it's actually being done in public. So those persons who come afterwards can I'm trapsy, but who come afterwards can learn from the mistake, and we can develop and grow as a country.
What was the mistake, though? What was the mistake? The same thing that I said, which is you don't know the form or structure of foundation?
Accountability, and that's what the whole debate is about: accountability and the interpretation of that, and what information should be shared, and what are the proper protocols of of managing a foundation. And this is what the discussion is about. And this is going to be hashed out inside the court, and the court is going to determine what procedures were right, what procedures were wrong, and who is responsible for the fault. And there'll be a conclusion of that. I believe that both foundations, the Head.org Foundation and the Head Knowles Foundation, will continue to thrive after this, right? And whatever manner they thrive. We see that the Head Knowles Foundation locally is still working. And we see the activities of the Head.org Foundation is still working. So this thing what is happening inside the court is a good thing. And that it will rectify.
That's a good spin. I think that's interesting that's the spin. I think that's an interesting spin on it, that you see it as a good thing, that it's playing out in court. You know, I think it's fascinating that, because I didn't think about it that way. To me, I'm looking at it as, I'm in the same business that you're in, so I love the information. I love that it is happening openly for the business that I'm in. I'm saddened that it is happening because it means that there's a friendship and a kinship that's no longer there. I'm saddened that this has happened, because then it's a part of a narrative of women can't work together, which I can't stand, because how many businesses with men, partnerships with men collapse, and we don't discuss the gender, but this is a thing. Oh, niggas, I tell you, man, you can't have no woman together, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm disappointed that it has gone to the point that it has gone in court, and wonder if it had to go to this place. And then I question myself and saying, well, Aja, aren't you being hypocritical then? Because we want accountability. And so therefore, accountability must happen. So I go through my processes. So accountability must happen, especially when you're talking about an entity that is, compliant, has to be compliant in the United States, has to be considered legitimate. So I understand the need for accountability. I understand this need here. I don't know. I feel like it's gotten just a little too ugly. It's gotten a little too much. But now that
it's personal, and I try not to take business personal. These things happens in the United States and in the UK all the time.
Because it started personal, man. This the Bahamas, man. Everybody know each other, so I feel it. I feel it, man. I feel it.
And of course, we'll gossip and throw jeers in and out of it. But the truth must come out. And at the end of this, we'll have a conclusion.
That's the truth. What is the truth? The truth will be, because they always say there's a 2 sides or 3 sides to every story. Really, it's your side, my side, and the truth. Because each one of us have a different version of events. We could have seen the same thing, but when we affix our feelings into what you said. So you said something to me. I heard what you said, but what you said wasn't what I received. It's a different version of it. It's definitely a different vibe that goes on. So it's mine, yours, and then the truth. And the truth will be the data, the numbers. That's what the truth will be. Was money received, and was money not put in, the same amount that was received, was it turned over? Who was the money supposed to be turned over to? And these are questions that you have to ask. And if there was no legitimate structure, then how do we argue this in court? Because Mrs. Head can argue that, hey, listen, a part of this was proceeds that I was using on this side to help persons who are affected by Dorian. So I didn't need for all of this money to go to the States, all of this to go home. That can be argued. Why can't she use some of that money here? And so these are things, in the States.
Let it be argued. And that's my point. Let it be argued and it'll be a conclusion. And the reason why I'm for this going through the court mostly is, of late, we have had so many NGOs popping up like crazy, like popcorn.
Oh yeah.
When it rain and all the weeds sprout up, we have that now in terms of NGOs. And surely there needs to be a mechanism that controls and monitor these things, especially NGOs who don't have any history, especially NGOs where people are able to buy, say, okay, I like that name, I'm going to buy your NGO, now it's mine, So all of these things needs to be hashed out. And this is why this court case is very important for the future of NGOs in the Bahamas.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely, because it is important. It is vital that we know how this works. Plus, I've been told that there's this new NGO that wants to have all of the nonprofits placed under them, which makes no sense to me, considering how can you be a nonprofit and want everybody to, acquiesce to your rule? And what is going on there? Because I thought everybody was an individual nonprofit and they should be governed by rules of law, not by one company or one entity being their boss. And it's just ridiculous. I'm gonna get more information on it, but it's a new alliance.
I heard the rumor too, and I see an alliance is being formed.
And that's what it is, an alliance.
It's an alliance being formed, and I'm seeing that there are a number of
and it's very strong.
Oh yeah, it's
very strong.
It's very political oriented.
Yep.
It's very social oriented, and more than likely they will succeed in their lobby. They're lobbying
because there's some strong lobbyists. There's some really strong. There's some high end lobbyists in this foundation. To me, needs the question. This is why I say, Cecil, our lack of knowledge will be our destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Why are certain things, when you see players interested in areas, you must ask yourself, what do I not know?
Yes.
If I see oil men walking around somewhere in an open field talking, and they're looking down, anywhere they go at this point, I figure they're looking for oil. What don't I know about this ground? If I see someone whose business is mining and they show up here one day and they talking to whom, what don't I know? If I see some people talking about they want to be the leaders of all NGOs, or what don't I know about this?
It's similar for seeing one of those local low-cost home owners.
Yeah.
And they go on your generation land. You need to run the court because they get
you need to run. Oh, they gonna own it.
They own all of it from long time, and you get money.
Exactly.
So once you see a certain set of home low cost,
man, once you see the sunshine line up on you, and you be in the bush, and you see that sun just hit you real right, and then you say, "Hold on, I thought this was my property." Break off running. Go somewhere. Get the title. Get your title.
Go
right away, because that's how this is. That's how it looks to me. See, so what don't we know about nonprofits? What do we know about non-governmental organizations that now you have the certain special interests seeking to dominate this area? And I have a challenge with that. And so our ignorance will be our downfall as a people. And our ignorance, many times I feel, Cecil, is very intentional. Very intentional.
And definitely there's money in nonprofit. One can become a millionaire by being a president or a board of director in a non-profit. And we see a number of Bahamians are doing well being involved in non-profit.
Listen, just to manage somebody's foundation. There's a lot of money in this thing. And that's why what we don't know will kill us. It is definitely, ignorance is never bliss. Truth is a burden, but it will surely set you free. Ignorance is never bliss. What we don't know will kill us in this country. And that is why, it's good that again, it's bad. I don't like it. I'll never like what's happening with Ed Knowles. In that the head and Knowles part is no longer together. But it is a par for course. And I kind of knew as they were growing so rapidly, you could, if the structures aren't there, then this was inevitable. And because they grew so quickly, you kind of had a feeling that, and because the success of it was very local and organic, it didn't reach the international sphere. Local and organic, you can manage. It's 300, 400,000 people. You can manage that. But when you're talking millions of people watching you, monies that you need to receive, and it's so many things that we learned during Dorian, that you knew that the strain would be great. You know what I mean? The strain would be great. And it's a disappointing thing to me. It's a very disappointing thing to me to watch this happen. But it is, as you would normally say, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Someone says the colonial family still. Go ahead, Cecil.
No, I expect great things to happen for both foundation. I'm hoping that the court case goes by quickly so we can have a resolution on what this is and moving forward. And the truth will come out. The truth will come out, and we all know what to do next.
Yeah. John says the colonial family still run the Bahamas. They have a ring in the noses of these politicians. You're right on that. I can feel it. I won't lie. I feel like they got them right there by the nose for real and dragging them along. And unfortunately, guess who's pushing these politicians along from behind? Us. We the dummies continually give them the support to believe that is okay, right? My good friend C.A. Newry. So one last thing, Cecil, and we got 6 minutes to cover it. Mia Mottley from Barbados has determined that the head of state will no longer be the Queen. As of 2021, no date really has been given, but by 2021, she's seeking to remove the Queen as the head of state. And first of all, can I just say that though the Barbados won't be the first. I think there was Trinidad and Tobago has done the same. Guyana has done the same. And there's one more. Antigua. Was it Antigua and Barbuda?
I know those two.
Lucia. I think so. Lucia. It was in Lucia. I know it's 3 other islands that have done it, and I can't remember the third to be certain. But Barbados, if they're successful, will be the 4th. And so they're not new with that, right? She'll be the 4th Anglophone country, Caribbean nation, to do this. And that's a big thing, though, right? For many people. Now, can I just say, for me, I think it's a perfunctory thing. I think it's something that we do as a symbol. I don't believe that the Queen or us pledging allegiance to the Queen has anything to do with our systemic poverty, the inequality, with a lack of poor education, with the loss of culture. No. And when I mean under majority rule, colonialism did things to us. We continue to perpetuate the values of a colonial system. And worse, we have leaders who have been almost all Black since independence, continue to increase inequality, continue to behave just like the CBP people they keep on dissing. Even worse in some cases, because the UBP was just, I don't think they even really cared that much. These fellas is fake care. That's what would be the worst. Just to stop. Don't even fake care. Just be you. Well, I guess that's the F&M now, but we digress. So I think that it is symbolic to do this. The question is, what is the real functional difference that will happen when it's done? And on top of that, isn't that something that has to be done via referendum? So
one would have thought. And I'm not sure the narrative on how they came to this conclusion. Was there a referendum? Was there a conclusion on it? It just seemed to be popped up. Oh, by the way, next year we moving to be.
I thought it was strong though. I thought it was strong. Mia Mottley is coming off great.
Barbados had all kind of pronouncements. Their 2020. There was a 2020 what you call that platform. Oh God. Anyway, program to change the Barbados. None of that came to fruition. So I shall wait. I shall wait to see what it is they're trying to aspire to. What's their agenda? And I'm patient. Mia Mottley has garnered a lot of support and attention and excitement throughout the Caribbean. Every time she speaks, the entire Caribbean electrifies and say, "Who is she?" She's our Obama of the Caribbean. I remember at the beginning, at the beginning of all this, we thought our prime minister was a doctor chosen for this time, right? And we got excited. And he went to the UN and make some good speeches and say, "We have our own Mia," right?
Which prime minister?
Minister, the doctor. Dr. Minnis.
Okay. All right. Then.
Hubert.
Okay. All right. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I just don't get it.
Most honorable.
I don't see that. I never.
In Bainstown.
Right. The prime minister, that fellow.
What he said, he used to sell newspapers when he's growing up. That good gentleman.
Okay. All right.
Who went to the private school.
Nope.
I got to give him a narrative.
No, that's good. I like it. I mean, really? I missed. Was there a pamphlet they gave up? Was it a pamphlet? Did they give it a pamphlet?
The whole narrative about our.
And this was given out, and this was the selling pitch because I missed it.
Yeah, it won. It won me over.
Oh,
he was one of us.
Oh,
he was one of us.
One of us who didn't declare that they were getting when the Minister of Health that they were renting out.
More things that happens all the time in our politics. All the time.
Definitely, all the time. I man. Guyana, Trinidad, and Tobago, and Dominica. Those are the 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Right. Okay. See what I'm saying? It's nice. So, I mean, look, I think that Mia Mottley has done what we had hoped that the Bahamas would do. The Bahamas. I was watching this move there were many moves that she's done, but since COVID-19, she has stepped out and proven to be a leader to the world. Before this, when she went into the UN and spoke about climate change and how bigger countries must be more accountable.
Our private to that too.
Yeah, no, it didn't make no sense. And be more accountable for climate change, right? And her speech was the one that really got the rousing support because it was very strong. It wasn't couching. It was very strong. And at the same time, didn't have no gum smacking, no lip smacking, none of all of that. You know, not all of that.
That's
right.
Shade.
I don't know what that was for. I'm just saying. Anyways, so we gotta go. I'm running on and we gotta go. Nonetheless, shout out to Mia Mottley and Barbados for saying what you're gonna do. Yes. Solidarity forever, right? Yes. Let's see if it happens. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahad Black. My good friend C.A. Newry joining me today on the show. Hope everybody enjoys your day. Stay safe, please. We will see you tomorrow. Bye, C.A.
Much love. Much love.